right now we are going through like this black girl magic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so women like us are in all of these professions, and we may not look the part, right? So there's like in the news recently, there was a judge. I'm not even sure what judge this was, but she's a judge, and she was caught up in the news for doing something. I think she got into a fight or something with the police. You remember that? Do you know her?
I don't. It was Georgia, right?
Yeah.
I almost thought it was in Illinois, because
yeah.
it'd be a lot of stuff
right,
going
yeah,
on
no,
there.
but she's from here. But she was a for real judge.
She was.
And she got into trouble. I guess she had gotten drunk. And,
She was drunk.
Yeah, and was like, look me up, that kind of thing, or didn't give her name or something. Yeah. But what's the transition for women who are kind of, we don't look like the part, getting these parts? Yeah. And what kind of like issues could we possibly have?
You know, I'm an 80s baby. Okay. So I was raised around like the crack epidemic and things like that. So one thing we see what it do to like other people. Like the person who inspired me to become an attorney, my godfather, who's an Italian man, who was my father's best friend, his license got suspended because he was a severe alcoholic. So because of that, I don't drink. I just don't drink alcohol, you know? So it's certain things like that, because we do have to always be a part. Sometimes I don't even announce to people that I am an attorney, because they'll try to, okay, let me figure out a way to weaponize, to you know, let her, remind her she's still, you know, because we have to be on our P's and Q's at all times, right? Like I was on a panel, and I have, you know, a team of people that work for me. And so it's just about leadership development as well, right? Even as a judge, as a lawyer, a doctor, like we're still in a leadership position, even if it's to the point where we're leading just for the next black girl to become in our position. So we hold a certain responsibility that we just really have to act accordingly, because it's already, people are already waiting for us to fail, right? Surprisingly, and I didn't even know this, but Illinois has one of the highest disbarment rate for black attorneys. That's a problem. And here's the thing, you could see the disbarment things, and one thing, I had a great professional responsibility professional professor on day one. He the first thing he wanted us to learn is you can be disbarred for anything. There's no statute that's like how there's statutes that say if you get caught with this amount of crack or cocaine, it carries this amount of sentence. No, this, like when you're sitting before a bar association, they could either suspend you, reprimand you, or disbar you, and they make the decision at that time, right? And so I don't even want to put myself in that position to give 3 different people that don't even know me, because I sacrificed so much to get here. I just told you, my baby girl, she's 12 now. My son is 23. My daughter is 19. They were kids, and I was in a library 16 hours a day while she's 5 months old at home. I sacrificed a lot to get this law degree, even time away from my kids, to the point that I don't play with my license, and I'm not going to let anybody play with it. So I act, you know, to the point where it's like, I hold a responsibility, you know, as an attorney, but also as a black woman who I know I'm under attack at any given moment. So,
okay, so what about the women who get into industries, professional industries, that you know that they have no business getting into, like strippers wanting to be real estate agents, and you don't know if they're selling ass or selling a home? How does that work? And I know you've seen it.
Well, I believe redemption can happen among anyone, right? Ooh. And I also believe that, you know, we grow, right? And we mature. So maybe she was a stripper at one point, but she aspired to be something else, because, you know, I was a licensed cosmetologist before I became a lawyer, and I see in the beauty industry, like we on the west side, we waking up at 7 o'clock doing 15 heads a day. You get what I'm saying? And not getting out the beauty shop to 2 a.m. in the morning. And you might not think, okay, well, she's qualified to go on and practice law, or, you know, you have someone who's like my sister, who I started working with her. She's now in the medical industry, where she's doing, like, you know, working with the insurance companies and medical billing and things like that, because that type of profession, whether it's a cosmetologist or it's taxing on your body. Like, you can't be a stripper forever. So I will appreciate.
Sure? Because I think the Claremont would beg to differ.
But I appreciate when people just recognize growth, right?
Yeah.
And maturity. Like, some people will never grow. They just gonna be who they are. But if you say, you know what? I had enough of this. I want some type of growth and things. I'm not mad at it as long as you go and actually educate yourself and study and learn and get the proper training you need to actually guide your clients. Like, you know, as far as real estate transactions, there's important things that you need to know in a real estate transaction to guide your client, educate your client, right? Because you don't want your clients like losing their homes on a technicality or anything like that. So as long as you get the proper education and training, I'm all for the growth.
Okay, all for the growth. Now, me personally, I have seen some interesting promotional videos of real estate agents selling homes, and you're literally like, I have no idea what's happening here.
Oh, wow.
So I think sometimes if we don't have the proper education, or at least the etiquette education, because you can get the professional education all day, but the etiquette education is the thing I think that sometimes we're missing when people cross over from one industry to another.
I haven't seen anything.
You're blessed.
Well, maybe you can send me some stuff. So
because I'm like literally like the girl is walking in and the camera's on her butt, and then you know and then there's another girl that I saw. I think she's in Houston, and she's like, I'm the such and such. I don't even know. She might be an attorney. I think she might be. I'll show you who it is. And she's got like a blazer on and her boobs all out, and she's got like nothing on underneath, and you're just like, what is happening? Are you in a music video, or are you an attorney or selling a home? Or it just seems like we, with our different cultures, are bleeding over into other industries, and we are not educated on the etiquette. That's all.
Yeah, I think too, though. I think social media has been a gift and a curse, right? Where a lot of people are being raised by social media. You know, like I was raised by my grandmother, you know, and, you know, you just don't really have like that type of like raising or, you know, etiquette training anymore and things like that. And so sometimes, you know, people will mimic what they see on social media, but not understanding like it may be a turnoff for people who are really serious about business. I kind of seen a video just other than, and I'm just scrolling, and it was about like credit repair, and the whole video just was like a turnout to the point where I'm like, why would I get that person my social security number? Like, you know,
you do not look trustworthy,
right? Just by your marketing alone, but you know, but I do believe too, like, you will attract the people that, you know, you're trying to market to. And so eventually I think that will become a educational moment for these people and things like that. Because if you know, supposed to be showing a house and you showing your butt, you know what I'm saying? A lot of what you're going to get is like people sliding in your DM, not trying to buy a house, but trying to buy some butt. So, you know, so it's just like, you gotta, you know, just be careful with that and just how you play. And, you know, sometimes people be like, well, you should be yourself and you gotta be yourself. But also too, you have, when you're trying to represent people, yes, be yourself, but also it is a certain type of etiquette that you should bring to the table, because you're not just the representative of yourself if you want to be in a business where you're serving clients.
Hey guys, welcome to our YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe, like, share, and comment. You never know what I might be in the comments. And also, thank you guys for continuing to watch.